Some of you may or may not be aware of the story right here, but this story had a very heroic ending, but it also had a very unfortunate, I guess you could say, after effect or a second coming after this. So in case y'all don't know what you're looking at on your screen right here, you had an incident that happened at a dealership. As you can tell, there's some cars in the background, but you see shattered glass right there on the floor in the top left, and you see a guy right there crouched behind the couch, and he's also hovering over some kids. This guy's name is Anthony Jefferson, and he was shielding his 2-year-old, 5-year-old, and 6-year-old after there was an incident that happened at this dealership. And basically, this guy was going there to surprise his wife. Well, he was going to go get a car to surprise his wife for her birthday. And, he took his kids along with him. And, a nice little gesture thing to do. And, of course, an incident, like I said, happened, and he shielded his children from what was going on. I want to say it was a shooting. I'm not entirely sure. I'm going to read the article. But what makes this story so upsetting is the fact that this man, after doing a heroic thing and saving and protecting his kids, he gets fired from his job. And I'm sitting here thinking to myself, how in the hell does someone get fired from their job after not only their life being in danger, but also his kids? Like, how does that work? And then you got to think, in this decaying economy we're in the midst of this pandemic, where jobs are scarce, like, what the hell? And I would like to know, where was he working? Like, what was he doing for a living? It had to be clearly good enough for him to go there and buy his wife a car for her birthday. But I'm going to go ahead and get into this article. Excuse me. A father was fired after risking his life to save his 3 kids who are aged 2, 5, and 6. Anthony Jefferson was at a car dealership on Monday at 4077 Boston Road in the Bronx after trying to buy a car to surprise his wife on her birthday when 3 suspects entered the facility and started shooting. In the video obtained by TMZ, the father is seen sitting on the couch with 3 kids as the glass behind them shattered and a gunman appeared. Jefferson quickly got down on the ground to cover the children, and a bullet is seen piercing through the sofa that they were just sitting on. Bullets entered Johnson's right thigh and boot. Despite being released from the hospital, he can't walk and still needs additional surgery. Prior to the shooting, Jefferson worked 2 jobs, one as a head painter and the other as a construction worker. But his wife, Danica Jefferson, said both jobs fired him after they learned he is unable to work. That is messed up. That is messed up. It's bad enough this guy almost died with his kids, or his kids could have died, and he's protecting his children while trying to do something nice for his wife, and he gets fired from not one, but both of his jobs, where I'm sure he was making decent money. And then they lived in New York, and New York, it's expensive to live up there. That's messed up. It says she did not reveal the names of the organizations. Well, they fired me for doing for doing this. And it's like, they act like it's almost like they treated him as if he was fired for just not coming to work or being caught doing something he wasn't supposed to be doing. I would have put those 2 jobs on blast. What could they do? At that point, you're no longer employed. A family friend created a GoFundMe in the hope of getting the family some much-needed financial help. 3 suspects fired multiple shots at a male, who then returned fire, striking Anthony Jefferson 3 times, twice in his boot and once in his thigh, as he was attempting to shield his 3 kids from the gunfire. As he shielded his kids, the 3 suspects continued to shoot. Due to his injury, Anthony lost his job and has to have surgery to remove the bullet. This GoFundMe is to help this heroic dad with his medical bills and his kids with therapy. They are beyond traumatized. Now, I was trying to see if I could find the link to it, because the link is not posted in this article. But if I do find it, I will post it in the comment section below. That is so messed up. Like, he was only trying to do something nice for his wife, for her birthday. He didn't know that those guys was going to come there and shoot up the place. They treated, you know what this reminds me of? If y'all remember in the movie Set It Off, at the beginning of the movie, where you had Vivica Fox's character, Frankie, working in the bank. She was like the only one out of her friends who had the decent job, because you know the other three, they worked for a janitorial service. But she worked at a bank as a teller. And one of the guys from her neighborhood came up in there, and she was thinking they was opening up an account. But they really came in the bank to rob the place. And then they robbed it, a person died, and everything like that. But when they were talking to her, they were treating her like she was the criminal, as if she knew who they were. They fired her only because she knew who the guy was. So it was that whole guilt by association type of thing. So they figured, oh, if she knows this person and she works for this bank and they were trying to rob it, who knows what kind of money she was going to receive on the other end for this, if they were able to get away. Even though she pleaded and told them that she did not know that he was going to come up in there and rob the bank. This kind of reminds me of that. The only difference is I highly doubt that this father knew who any of those three guys were that came up in that dealership. But his job fires him because he's going to be unable to work. You mean to tell me there's not any other person out there that could fill his position or fill in for him until he heals? Like, what a bad time to fire this guy. This guy has 3 kids and a wife to support. Now his money flow has stopped indefinitely. And he has bills now added on, medical bills, so he could get his health taken care of, and more bills because they said that the kids are going to need therapy. He's going to need therapy too. That costs money. And his jobs could give a rat's ass about that. This is why many people go into business for themselves. It's like to the point now where like we will have to do that because job security is not like it used to be. Hell, what is job security in 2020? What is it? It is about as mythical as so-called equality. But hopefully I can find the link to this GoFundMe so I can leave it down in the comment section so this man and his family can be taken care of. As for those 2 jobs, they can both go fuck themselves. And if I was the wife, I would have definitely put those 2 jobs on blast. So people will know not to apply there anymore, or 2, use their services. Find that Yelp and give them a 1 star and leave a bad review up there and tell them about this whole situation that happened here. But something tells me, even though the wife is not saying what the jobs are, those internet sleuths, the ones that can find just about anything, that work like the CIA and the FBI and Interpol and all them other governmental agencies, are going to find out who those employment agents, those jobs are, probably by the end of the week.